Welcome to Around the Peninsula. I'm Senior Airman Taylor West. Some people go through life at the School of Hard Knocks. Sergeant Anthony Alcantar introduces us to a student who uses his education to join an elite group of Army soldiers.
Staff Sergeant Julian Gerena knows all about the opportunities the Army has to offer. He's a soldier athlete, a term used to describe soldiers who compete in all Army sports.
Me being a career counselor, I talk to soldiers about a lot of different opportunities, so I always tell them, there's other stuff you can do in the Army. It's just not just, going to the field or going to work every day.
He started boxing after his first deployment to Iraq in 2009 and hasn't stopped since then.
During the fight, I try to tune everything out. First, when I first get in the ring, I'm a little bit nervous. I just try to focus on the person in front of me and try not to worry about what anybody on the outside is thinking, because they're not the ones that's in the ring. I'm the one in the ring.
He loves competition and pushing himself to the limit in training for all Army boxing.
He's training all the time. He's thinking about all Army boxing all the time. He's basically cutting the weight himself. Then when he gets in here with me, it's minor touch-ups.
Through that training, Sergeant Julian Gerena has learned a lot about the sport of boxing.
I learned this is a sport you got to take serious. You can't cheat. You got to commit 100% to it, eat right, live right, practice, and put in the hard work.
Through hard work, Sergeant Gerena hopes to win the upcoming All-Army boxing competition. I'm Army Sergeant Anthony Alcantar, Camp Stanley, Korea.
Staff Sergeant Julian Gerena will go to Fort Huachuca to train for the All-Army boxing competition. Inspiration comes in all forms. Troops in Area 1 meet a former service member with a positive message.
One more.
The professional wrestling world brings high-flying entertainment to a global audience, and now they're here meeting with Area 1 wrestling fans. Wrestlers like Gunner, Cowboy James Storm, Angelina Love, and Chris Melendez are greeting service members as part of their Destination America Impact Tour.
Gardner wrestling is something I always wanted to do since I was a kid. There were two things I wanted to do. I wanted to serve my country, and my second goal was to become a professional wrestler. And despite getting injured, I didn't let that stop me.
They're not just wrestlers, they're role models.
The way I look at it, I try to turn stumbling blocks into stepping stones. I try to turn adversity into opportunity, and what I did was it kind of propelled me into my career in professional wrestling because it's such a unique situation you don't normally see or expect people would be able to do something like that. But I knew from day one that nothing was going to stop me and I was going to be able to do it.
Even with a handicap that would make most people give up, Chris still manages to hunt for the good and encourages everyone to never quit fighting.
You would be surprised at the reserves that you have within yourself if you never give up and you never quit. And I hate to sound so cliche, but I mean what I say because I was in the same position. It was actually the Wounded Warrior Project played a big part in helping me out too, because they were at my bedside right after I got injured, and there was other wounded soldiers that came to talk to me, and they gave me hope. And I said, if they're okay, I'm going to be okay. So that I gained more confidence from that.
As a new father, Chris knows that one day his son will ask him how it happened.
I would tell him that Daddy lost his leg fighting for our country so that you could have the freedoms that you have right now.
A statement that we are all too familiar with. I'm Army Sergeant Kevin Spence, Camp Casey, Korea.
Next month, Armed Forces Entertainment brings GIs of comedy to the peninsula. It is important for students to have time to prepare for a new environment. Sergeant First Class Victor Gardner introduces us to a student who is about to start his last adventure in middle school.
Students gathered in Daegu American School with excitement, anticipation, and a bit of nervousness for the new year. This school year is more special to Alex Scheidt, who will spend his last year in middle school.
I expect it to be easy and like last year. I'm also excited for my first year of high school next year. I don't expect 8th grade to be much different from 7th and 6th grade.
Spending 6 years in Korea, Alex not only gets the special memories, but also could expand his perspective to deal with different cultures.
We came here when he was 8 years old. So, he's gone through since 3rd grade here. I think living in Korea has definitely been a lifelong experience for him. Just to be able to live in a different culture that's so different than the American culture. So when he gets older, he can say, I've gone to these places, I've experienced this. It's not a lot that kids back in the States can say that they've done that.
I want to be a doctor, more of a cardiac surgeon. I kind of want to follow my brother Justin's footsteps, go and graduate from the high school valedictorian, go into the Air Force Academy, go to med school.
Lofty goals for someone starting the 8th grade. Reporting from Daegu American School, I'm Army Sergeant First Class Victor Gardner.
The new school year began on August 31st. The Daegu High School Warriors won their 4th consecutive Far East title in Japan last October. Army Sergeant Kelly Wiebe tells us about the beginning of the Drive for 5.
If Amerigas Punxsutawney Phil to signal the coming of spring, then opening kickoff signals the arrival of fall. The Daegu Warriors football team holds practice early in the 2015 season. Although the team has had plenty of success on the field in recent years, the activity benefits the whole community.
Daegu Warrior football means to me, what it means to me is family. Ever since I first came out here in freshman year, it's always been, pounded into me that the person next to me who's playing, he's my brother. If something wrong happens with one of them, we need to support him through the end.
Americans serving overseas miss the comforts of home. One way to ease the pain of separation is to enjoy a high school football game on a Friday night.
I think Daegu Warrior football means a lot because, like during the games, you'll see a bunch of people out here, people who don't even have any ties to the school or actual, to the team will still be out here cheering you on.
The football team also provides great recreation for students, even if they don't play on the team.
To me, it means a family that I can talk to if I want to, and then they're really fun to hang around with, so I can be myself around them. It's just a community where everybody can feel comfortable with each other, and everybody has so much teamwork, so it's kind of inspiring.
Army Sergeant Kelly Wiebe, Camp Walker, Korea.
The Warriors opened their season at home against Seoul American High School. Aircraft fires are very rare, but being prepared is of the utmost importance when lives are on the line. Senior Airman Sydney Manning shows you how the fire department stays ready.
Firefighters from Osan Air Base show members of the Korean Air Force and Songtan Fire Department their technique for controlling aircraft fires. After a quick demonstration from Air Force firefighters, the Korean departments quickly established their own expertise. Technical Sergeant Christopher Haenelt says this is the first time in his 3 years at Osan they've had an opportunity to train both with Songtan's department and the Korean Air Force.
Today we practice our aircraft live fire burns, which if we do actually have an aircraft incident, we'll be calling on these mutual aid partners to help us out in the event that it's a large-scale emergency.
Songtan's Fire Chief Im Choon says that training with the U.S. Air Force is very impressive.
Aircraft firefighting is dangerous, but it doesn't happen very often because aircraft fires are rare. Today, we are using a simulator. This is very good training for us in case there is a real aircraft fire.
Senior Airman Sydney Manning, Osan Air Base, Korea.
Osan Air Base Fire Department uses their mobile aircraft fire trainer to teach firefighters from Songtan and the Korean Air Force how to properly control an aircraft fire. That was your Around the Peninsula for Thursday, September 10th. To see these stories and others, go to the AFN Pacific website or view them through the AFN Pacific app. From all of us at AFN, enjoy your evening.
As a new member to the USFK team, it's on me.
As a flight leader who enforces standards, it's on me.
As a leader responsible for the welfare of my sailors and their families, it's on me.
As a field grade officer responsible for cultivating a positive command climate, it's on me.
Cindy and I need your help. Stand up. If you see something, do something. Sexual harassment and sexual assault exist as long as we do nothing. It's on me.
What makes our military and this community strong is our trust in one another. We are a family. Sexual assault and sexual harassment have no place in our home. It's on me.
It's going to take all of us.
It's on us.
Chief Brown and I wish all airmen a happy 68th Air Force birthday. On September 18th, we celebrate our rich history and pay tribute to the incredible airmen of generations past who built the greatest air power team in the world.
Today's airmen proudly carry on the traditions of our past. Thanks to your dedication, tomorrow's Air Force will be leaner, smarter, and better than ever before. Airmen up!
Chief and I are extremely proud to serve beside you in the world's greatest Air Force.
Happy birthday, Air Force!